cool.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Irongeek Cast number 169. I like cats. How's everybody doing today?
Wait. We're cast number 16. Oh, never mind. Okay. I like cats. I got it. Never mind. That's gonna be like, wait, it's 169. Why aren't we like oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
was a little slow that one.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling great on this wonderful Wednesday. A little bit, it looks like it's a little cloudy, but all in all, it has been an awesome day today. Had a super amount of fun. Vic Connect. I was just watching a funny video, and I just, God, life is good.
Yeah, Charles, we know all about you in videos.
Yes. That's yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how you guys feeling?
More or less okay.
We've had like 8 inches of freaking rain in the last 48 hours. I told somebody today I'm considering, just going outside and fishing in land that's not normally a pond or a river, just to see if fish sporadically appear out of nowhere, because I have some pretty large ponds out back now that are not normally ponds.
Hey, we just had that last weekend, so you're welcome.
Oh, it is stupid.
Yeah.
And it's coming from like the southeast and going like northwest. And
yeah, that's what ours was. Yeah, ours was basically a giant pattern that was circling DFW for like 18 hours straight.
Yeah, and it's absurd.
And it's pissing me off because my roof is fucked up and it started leaking. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it's like whenever tropical depression or, because it has rotation in it, and it's just like keeps dumping and dumping. Like whenever a hurricane's just sitting in one place, But yeah.
Israel, you know what you should do?
You move to Florida.
No. Don't you do that? You should take have your radio on blast, playing Def Leppard, and just saying "Pour some sugar on me," but then spinning around like it's like the sound of music in the rain. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you smoking before cast?
Nothing. I don't smoke.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I just wrapped so many different time zones in that one little statement.
That is completely accurate, yes.
Yeah. What were you? No, I don't smoke. I don't smoke. I don't vape.
I do vape.
Yeah,
I vape also.
Now I like when other people vape because the colors smell great.
Oh yeah, like mine you don't
smell. Flavors, excuse me, the flavors.
Because I do like a mint type of a flavor, and yeah, nobody ever smells. I do the boring stuff.
I remember Cap did the grape. I was like, oh, this smells good. I thought I would think, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to comment on that last statement.
Oh. Yeah. It smelled like Bubblicious.
Ooh, see, I used to love Bubblicious. Remember Big League Chew?
Yes.
Yeah.
The purple one was the best one. I don't think the original one. The grape. Excuse me, I spelled it purple. The grape. The grape was the best one. Woo.
That's right.
Yeah, I was a candy kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I used to really like that isn't around anymore. Big League Chew.
Big League
the main one. Oh, the gum that was came out of the container that was like gum by the foot or something. Remember that?
Bubble tape?
Yeah, maybe bubble tape. But yeah, it was in this little container and it came out. Oh, why is everything with me gum apparently? The gum that was like baseballs.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that was the bubble tape.
Well, the baseballs weren't bubble tape.
No.
Maybe I was like Double Bubble or something.
Double Bubble. It was Bazooka Joe. They used to have the comic strip.
Yeah, Bazooka Joes. Yeah, those comics.
Man.
And you could hardly ever actually read the comic strips because they were so tiny. Yeah.
I'm in the mood for some Bazooka Joe. Oh, I wish they was still around.
Yeah, but the Bazooka Joe, that was the comic tape one,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, comic.
That stuff was so, you had to have that bubble gum in your mouth for like 15 minutes before it gets soft enough that you could actually chew it.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep. Oh my goodness, Bazooka Joe candy.
Nice. And some of them may still exist. I just, don't buy bubble gum anymore. But
yeah, and I'm not buying that off of no dag on eBay. That thing already sitting there like 1,000 years.
Or it was a reproduction made in China. It's not even bubble gum.
Oh, it could have something else in it. Never mind. Let me behave myself. So anyway, enough about my crazy mind and warped mind. What's everybody else got? What's up? Who else is on here? Darren, my man. What's up, man?
Oh, a lot of same shit, different day. Like I said earlier, with the rains, my roof is all fucked up now. We had a really bad hailstorm here about 3 weeks ago, and yeah, with that, we thought we had it repaired, but it was leaking really bad. So, hooray! I'm dealing with the fun of insurance, but thankfully they've already approved my claim, and roofers out here today to do some temporary patches to keep us at least hopefully waterproof for the upcoming rains, and then it's gonna get replaced.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You gonna replace with shingles or move to metal?
No, shingles, because it's not worth it for a metal roof, to be honest. It's just getting 30-year shingles. We'll do that.
Okay.
Because apparently the so when I bought the house, they actually replaced the roof as a condition of selling it, and I called the previous roofer, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we only do a 2-year warranty." And I was like, "Well, you're shit," because the new roofer was like, "Yeah, I do a 5-year warranty," and apparently they use like the cheapest ass brand of shingles there are, and they fucked up the installation. So that's why it's all fucking falling apart. Yeah. So I'm thrilled about that.
Nice. Yeah, because I found I had my roof replaced back in early January, but I found an Amish crew to do it, and it ended up being like, I did metal. It was like $2,000 more than like a regular company to come out here and just put normal shingles on. It was, and it's freaking awesome. But again, it's because I found the appropriate people to do it. Like regular, I think I paid like 15, and regular companies had a couple come out and quote me. They were like 25, and so yeah, because a lot of different moving pieces and parts on my house, which because it's old and.
That's super cheap because the previous homeowner, I had their invoice from him, and it was like $7,000.
Yeah.
So, damn.
Yeah, and I had a guy quote me on shingles, or actually I had 2 or 3, and all of those came back at least like 13. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna do metal for 15.
No, you have shingles. No,
not anymore.
How big is your property?
4 acres.
Well, I'm sorry, I should say how big is your house, not your property.
Right at 2,000 square foot, but
okay. So yeah, is it a 1-story?
2.
Oh, 2-story. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see a little bigger roof because I'm at about 18, so I guess is why it's more.
Yeah, and 2, like my 15, that included leaf guard, all new gutters, leaf guard filters or leaf guards on the gutters. A portion of my roof is I'd say about 1/4 of my roof is a flat roof, and only a single story flat roof, and so new rubber over the top of that. I mean, and everything for 15. It was, and
yeah, that's not bad.
Job was done incredibly well. I was so happy, and even like the regular roof that has the metal on it, it's not like a straight A all the way down. It's A, and then it comes off with another section that A's off, so it wasn't even like it was that easy. So yeah, I was very, very happy because everybody else was, to do the rubber and shingles was going to be at least 13, and I got a metal for 2,000 over that. and a lot longer warranty.
Yeah. Well, what's the warranty on that?
The workmanship, I think he gave me a 10-year on the workmanship, and the metal is 25 years.
Well, it's not bad. I mean, the shingles are usually 30 for the good ones, and I mean the workmanship depends upon who installs it. I mean, the guy I'm going with is going to do a 5-year. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, 5-year workmanship, it's gonna get replaced in 5 years because this is fucking Texas. We have hailstorms all the damn time.
Yeah,
So.
that's true.
Texas and the barbecue. I love the barbecue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know. I know that was straight.
Hey, next time you're here, Charles, let me know. I'll take you some good places.
Yes, definitely, man.
And if you can find any place that does like a great barbecue, Charles is going to be down for that.
Hurry up, restrictions and get loose. I need to get out there.
And of course, that goes to anyone else on the cast too. If y'all are down here, let me know.
Yeah, look, you see how Israel was like, damn, I didn't get an invite. I have to say that. Shame.
Nah, everybody can see there's no tone to my skin, so my flavor palette's probably not up to par.
Oh, please.
At least nearly as much as Charles's.
It never has to do with skin. It has something to do with just
soul. I don't have any of that either.
Soul. Oh, please. Oh, please. Don't let Israel fool you. He secretly has a lot of soul. He refuses to let it out. You have swag, sir. You have swag. Is that what look, now I sound like an old man. That's what the new kids are calling it, swag?
Oh, or swagger.
Swagger.
Actually, I'm pretty sure new kids are past that. So
okay, yeah, see, that's how old I am.
Yeah.
Trip, what's up?
What's up?
All right, how's it going, man?
It's going well. How about you?
Woo, feeling great all day, every day.
All right.
Yes.
Hurrah.
Yeah.
Charles is feeling great in the neighborhood. Won't you be his neighbor?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm a fun guy.
Yeah, like a mushroom.
Charles, whatever medication you're on, I really need some of that shit.
Dude, I'm really not on any medication. This is just me in real life.
IRL.
IRL, Charles.
No, IRL. yeah. No, I as Israel, I'm gonna tell you, this is just moi in person. So it's just, yeah.
I don't think I've ever met somebody so enthusiastic before. You're like always up.
I have. Hey,
that's what she said.
Yes, that's right.
Hey, today is cast number 169, so yeah, I had to throw at least one of those out there.
The acronyms out there.
Yes, cast 169. I like cats.
6'9", always up. Oh my goodness. This guy talk about his wet from the ceiling, rain. Man.
Nice.
Yes. But no, yeah. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what to call it, man. I get excited for this stuff. Enough bad shit in the world. I just try to have a little piece of the good stuff.
That's right.
Wait, did you propose that this episode be named Always Up?
No.
Okay.
We can change it. It doesn't have to be I like cats.
No, I like cat 6'9". I like cat. Jesus. Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah, I'm assuming Frank put that in.
Well, it wasn't noticeable, That's what I'm saying. I got my pearls on with my gems, and I'm feeling Pythonic. Boom, in a bashy kind of way. If, else, and case statements are all welcome.
I'm going in and cleaning up the show notes a little bit. New.
You're changing it up.
Good luck. I made a complete mess of those freaking show notes.
Uh-oh, he said mess. Messy? All right.
Very messy.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to make it messy.
I even added a section called random shit because I didn't feel like sorting it.
Woo!
Oh, Nelson? Yes, I do respect animals. I'm part of PETA, people eating tasting animals.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably pork. I don't know. Tough to say, but I like some exotic meat.
Good, but it's expensive now. Pork is actually more expensive than beef in my supermarket. Crazy.
Yeah. So right now, a lot of the processing plants are not up and running. So there could be some big issues come wintertime, at least US. Just because right now we're normally, you know, producing enough meat as well as vegetables to take care of everybody, as well as canning them and putting some away and freezing and everything else. Right now, we are only keeping up with on demand. We're not putting any back. So, like Tyson Foods are processing like next to no chickens right now. Almost all the plants are down. There's all. I saw one video of a thing of
Cluck, cluck, cluck.
yeah, not chickens, but hogs. A pile of hogs just being brought out of the plants because they gas the entire. What do they call them? Hog, not house. Chicken
It's a
house or hog.
Chicken coop.
house.
Not chicken
Yeah,
coop.
not a house, but whatever they call the
pen?
actual. Yeah, not the pen, but the actual like barn, hog barn. Yeah, that works. The actual barn where they have 500-600 hogs at a time. They just gassed them and euthanized them because there was nowhere to take them, and they were too big, and legs start breaking and everything else if they kept getting bigger. So that's happening with a lot of things, as well as some of the produce. Like I saw a onion farm out west, and apparently this isn't only like one farm. This is multiple places where there's just not enough, nowhere to take it, to package it, to do all the appropriate things, and they trenched about 100 yards by 300 yards long hole and just buried all the onions that they had just brought up. So, yeah, we could have issues here very soon if stuff doesn't turn around with the different processing facilities.
So come winter, I may be eating liberal arts majors.
Potentially, yes.
Okay, Mary would have to show me how to field dress. I'm not familiar with that. I've watched her do it before, not with her actual liberal arts major, but with a. I've seen her do it with a pig, and I think I've seen her do it with a sheep before.
No deer.
It was a goat. It was not sheep. It was a goat. And
No-
she actually had a literal scapegoat because the first time she tried to hit it in the head with the 22, I don't know if she missed or it bucked at the wrong time, but it actually jumped out of the little barn and was running around the field for a bit till we could get it back in. And she made it with the second shot.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So speaking of unfortunate, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask real quick on the 22. Was it an actual 22 bullet or the little gun that's made that's the size of a 22 that actually goes
It's
in and
22
retracts?
revolver.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what make and model it was. I offered to let her use one of mine, but
They've got those guns that just shoot like a spike and then retract it.
yeah, I've seen they were using that in No Country for Old Men.
On people?
Yes.
Oh,
And No Country for Old Men, who is walking around and using that to kill people.
Oh yeah, bolt guns.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just spring loaded, so you literally you cock it, you put it against the animal's skull or neck and press it, and basically shoots a bolt, and just snaps their neck, and they're out. They're very humane because of how they work.
Yeah. Like anytime we do hog roast, that's what we use on
That's
hogs.
how I want to go.
I figure.
Yeah, unfortunately, hackers on the farm may happen. We may still do it in the fall, but obviously we're not doing it during the normal time period.
You probably should during the fall because y'all don't be out there fucking hiking and
Oh yeah,
gross ass heat.
Yeah, the dead of summer for that would not be any fun.
yeah. I remember the one that happened in 2018. Mary took us on a death hike, and I was not doing particularly well. I mean, we woke up in the morning. I was like, Mary, okay, I got to go back. I got to go home. I got to take a shower. And we didn't have proper backpacks, and she was wanting to strap us in with like DerbyCon backpacks.
Oh no,
That's not going to work. And I used my laptop backpack after hollowing it out, but even that wasn't good because I had to carry my my sleeping bag in a strange place, and it was bouncing my legs. And
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know what a strange place is, it's his crotch. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually the back of my legs.
Okay.
Because I couldn't strap it on top of the backpack. I had to strap it kind of underneath the backpack, but then it's constantly bouncing on my legs.
Mhm.
Yum yum, bouncy bouncy.
Yum, yum, bouncy, bounce. Yeah. That's what she said.
Mhm. Man,
Oh.
notes, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's get into some breach reports. Does anybody have any announcements?
No announcements today.
One small one.
That's what she said
I've
too.
added it to the notes up above. Apparently, Show Me Con. Oh, someone's added some more cancellations in here. But Show Me Con has been canceled.
Mhm.
B-Sides Kentucky is postponed until October 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Hope has gone digital.
There's a B-Sides Kentucky in general.
That's what it says on. I didn't put it there, so
B-Sides. Oh wait, which one are you?
Besides KC.
KC.
That's not. Yeah, Kentucky's KY.
That's not Kentucky.
oh, whatever. One of those states that is in it.
God damn.
I think that's actually Kansas City. So wherever I got Kansas
Yeah.
City,
That's the one that
it is, I don't
Caprico
know.
always goes to.
Anyway, so
And he definitely doesn't go to Kentucky.
Hope Hackers on Planet Earth. That's the 2600 con. Goes on once every 2 years. That one has gone digital this year.
So Circle City Con, but I don't have it in the notes, and I don't remember when it is. I wasn't going to do videography this year, so I just kind of ignored it.
And the 2 local New York City cons, SummerCon and HushCon, have also been canceled.
Interesting.
Add the ones you know that have been canceled. Oh yeah, you got them in there.
Which sucks because SummerCon was going to be the longest running con, and now that it's canceled a year, it's not going to be the longest running con.
Huh.
And
That's kind of interesting that some of these are just straight up canceling, not even doing like, something online.
well, then you have, if you don't cancel, there's another weird effect. First of all, people aren't sure how much. Some people are more scared of the virus than others, and it's going to hit your attendance at the conference. Also, if you're usually set to do it during one part of the year where everybody's spaced out, let's say Show Me Con, they originally I think we scheduled for October, but decided to cancel it. I think they normally have it in June. So what are you going to do next time around? Are you going to keep your new dates, or are you going to have 2 cons that within less a year than apart?
Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure why some aren't doing, like an online thing. Yeah, it's not going to be as good as the in-person, but at least you have something, right? And then you could still keep your same dates next year, because that's what, like, Wild West, where was that? San Diego, where they were just gonna. This was going to be their first Wild West in San Diego. They converted over to online only. Like B-Sides Atlanta did online only. Quite a few are doing online, but at least it still gets the speakers. They're able to talk. The vendors can do something, but at least it's not just 100% canceling, right?
True.
But where am I going to get socks? I got to get my Trusted Second Binary Defense socks.
I don't know. That's hard to say. You will not be a Soxy individual anymore.
Maybe you can get Israel to mail you some.
I don't know. You really want to wear socks that I've already worn?
Not when worn. I mean, you talk to Dave and see if he has. I'm assuming there's a box around.
And I know what Israel's done with those socks.
I mean, I may have a pair that has small holes starting to develop that I could probably get rid of.
Yeah, those aren't very useful anymore. It doesn't catch the jet. I mean, yeah.
So I guess we should get on to the breach report. The first thing we've got today is EasyJet. They're a UK.
Whoa, EasyJet. That's what she said.
Easy there, Jet. It's the UK's largest airline, and it said that hackers have accessed the travel details of 9 million customers, including their credit cards, in the data breach. But passport records were not accessed. Apparently, they just want the credit cards. Screw the passports. We don't need those. And they contacted TechCrunch, who wrote this article, and let them know that this happened. I wonder if they contacted their customers who have been affected by this breach. It doesn't say if they've done that.
Interesting.
They're
And
going to be fined a record 183 million pounds or 230 million for this data breach.
203 million USD.
Yeah,
Okay.
230 USD.
Yeah.
And hackers siphoned off thousands of credit cards after skimming malware on the site. So I'm wondering if it was like a mage cart type attack, if they popped some malware on there,
Probably.
something similar. If not a direct just mage cart attack. And that's it for that article. And the next thing that we have is hackers sell 129 million sensitive records of Russian car owners. I don't know how sensitive your car ownership records are, but I guess that's not.
Especially in Russia.
I know, it's like, okay, he has this car, but anyway, no details on the car owner is available in the public set of 83 files. Only the car's make and model, place of registration, and date of first and last registration. So I don't see this being a very valuable asset to sell off. It seems apparently they're selling it for 1.5 Bitcoin, so 14,500. I don't know if they'll actually get that. I mean, so what? It's a database of what cars people have. I don't know. It doesn't have their plates on it or anything. It's lame.
I don't know. Need for Speed or what was the one with Nicholas? Gone in 60 Seconds. That could be valuable to somebody there.
I mean, if you've got like a really antique car or something, and there's only a few of them, I guess.
Yeah, you really have a Jonesing for Lucille, right? You got to get that Mustang. So, and there's only the one.
That is true.
In Russia.
In Mother Russia.
Yeah, you have a rear-wheel drive sports car in Russia.
Let's see. Does this work? I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm going to try this. Nope, that's the wrong page. All right, let's go. Dunk. All right. So the next thing we've got is Indiana in New York. Indiana in the U.S. Their Department of Employment Security has confirmed a limited data access issue with the new Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. So the record, essentially, when you are applying for benefits because you've been laid off, that system. They suspect a breach.
Illinois.
Yeah,
I think you said Indiana.
I did? What the hell's wrong with me? Be slapped.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Anyway, IDES will release the results of the analysis once completed. They're essentially having a third-party firm audit their stuff to see if they've actually been breached. So there aren't any real details about what has actually been leaked or if there was actually a breach, but they are going to get back to us real soon about that.
Oh, it's nice of them.
It is possible that up to 39 weeks worth of employment benefits records have been compromised. So that would not be good.
Which would also be pre-pandemic.
Yeah, that's true. EasyJet's on here twice, so we can skip EasyJet the second time. And now we have hackers targeted supercomputers in Europe to mine Monero. Yes.
Yeah, I saw this one. This is funny.
So
I would be curious as to what type of output you would get from that, right? Like from a mining perspective, because just regular processors and stuff have been kind of crappy for years, and that's why botnets exist, because then you have power of tons and tons of processors. So I'd be really curious, like an actual supercomputer, or like who has the what's that kind of next generation of computing where it has to be super cold to happen?
That's that quantum shit.
Yeah. So Google's quantum computer. What would that look like if you got like a Bitcoin miner on their quantum computer?
I wonder if we could figure out the entire blockchain. Just be like, skip that shit.
I don't know, but I'd like to see what it would do.
People good at all mathematical problems. I mean, different types of hardware are better for some things than others, and I'm not quite sure how a quantum computer works.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm not sure it's good for all problems. For instance, like your CPU is good for general problems,
Yeah,
better than which might be able to do on even a GPU. But GPU are good at processing certain things in parallel very fast.
correct.
yeah, GPU can crack hashes very, very quickly.
Oh, Bill Adams said something, then deleted it before I could read it.
Yeah, I said somebody was looking for COBOL programmers, I believe.
Okay, that doesn't seem like something
Programmers?
you would delete, but they're still out there. The heyday was in the late. The heyday was in the late '90s when everybody was trying to fix the old shitty code.
to get
And,
it up
and,
for a
and
white.
now
Yeah.
everybody's still trying to fix their old shitty code.
New
Prima-
Jersey is looking for COBOL programmers for their employment systems, which are still running COBOL.
Yeah, I know here in Ohio, to sidetrack briefly, unemployment is still running on COBOL. And that system is drastically getting just pounded left and right currently.
Yeah.
To go back to tonight's episode is number 169, in case anybody didn't know.
You think it wouldn't be too hard to export the entire thing into a flat file and then import it into a new database? Apparently, that's a very difficult thing to do.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, or even like into a Hadoop where you can do organized and non-organized data, or whatever the correct structured and unstructured data. That's the appropriate phrasing.
Yeah. So this attack we were talking about with the Monero miner,
Yeah.
it's a little interesting. I mean, they're saying essentially the attacker used these hosts for mining. They're connected to other proxy hosts and eventually the actual mining server. It was a bot. I wonder if they just got on a system and didn't realize it was a supercomputer and installed an XMR miner.
I figure.
They might not even known this was a supercomputer. They might just, I'm on a box. Okay, what do I do? Let me pop a fucking miner on there.
Yeah.
Kind of like Joey and hackers hacking into a bank across state lines.
Now it's a federal crime.
Where are your brains in your ass? So moving on to ransomware, we have FBI ProLock ransomware gains access to victims' networks via Quackbot infections.
Interesting.
Quackbot.
Yeah. Quackbot, just for anybody who doesn't know, it's one of the ransomware families, or, one of the methods, I guess, who they look for specific pieces of software on the system and, say like a specific type of antivirus or EDR. And if that specific one is there, they'll shut down and never fully detonate the payloads. So.
Right. If it doesn't look like a high value target, they just exit out.
No, I'm saying if there's certain protections in place, they don't want to get caught and they'll shut down.
Really?
To that protection being there. Yeah.
I've heard of them actually exiting because they notice that it's a worthless system to them, but I've never heard of them actually doing what you're talking about.
Yep.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, just because they know they'll get caught with a certain couple things. So, yeah. It's kind of sweet.
Sweet and scary.
Yeah. Sweet and spicy.
They're calling this human-operated ransomware. There are strains that are installed manually on the network of hacked computers. The gangs breach or rent access to a hacked network, take manual control over the hosts, and spread laterally through the network, and then deploy ransomware once they've maximized their access. So this is actually a kind of cool development, the way they're doing this now, where they'll go into the system first and explore and move around throughout the network rather than just drop a payload on a system and encrypt it.
Yes, and one of the biggies for that is that a lot of people aren't paying, right? And just recovering from backups. So what they want to do first is be able to get into the network, find where those backup systems are, and essentially target the backup servers first, and then rapidly release their ransomware after they've annihilated the backups. And that takes time.
Ransomware groups also grab a shit ton of data, and then they if you don't pay us, we're going to release this shit.
Yeah.
So as of the time of the writing, it's not clear if ProLock ransomware was created and managed by the Quackbot gang or if they rent access to Quackbot infected hosts. A lot of these things, they're really unskilled hackers. They're not. I wouldn't even really call them hackers. They're just people renting access to the tools. They're not. They didn't write the tools. I wouldn't even call them script kiddies. I would just call them.
Just call them people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is, essentially a definition of ransomware as a service, or just kind of hacking as a service. And especially with the Quackbot one, it's a Trojan that I'm pretty sure it self-replicates as much as it can until it kind of reaches the end of its road. But yeah, they allow people to kind of use those systems, and they turn those systems into botnets, right? So yeah, it definitely gets interesting the more you move and see what some of the different tactics are that some of these guys are using.
Very cool. The next thing we have is I lost my place. That's what we have. Texas state agency to be victims of a ransomware attack. So the Texas court system and Department of Transportation were victims of cyber attacks last week. The attack on state agency came Thursday when Texas announced their website was compromised by ransomware, the DOT that is. Hackers gained control into their systems and shut it down until the website owner pays the money to restoring it, thus holding it for ransom. The FBI is investigating, and the article is very, very brief. They don't give us a lot of cool, juicy details, but another state agency gets hacked, which just seems to be the way things are going now. They're going after these individual state government agencies that don't really spend a lot on IT security and just owning them and popping ransomware on there, hoping that they will pay.
That's right.
Next, we have police catch suspects planning a COVID-19 hospital ransomware attack. Good. Those people should be fucking locked away.
Yes.
So police in Europe have swooped in on a cybersecurity gang they suspect of planning ransomware using COVID-19 lures against hospitals. The four-man Pentagard group was formed at the beginning of the year, according to the Romanian Directorate of Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism. It amassed tools including ransomware, rats, SQL injection, to launch attacks against public and private sector organizations with the aim of stealing data, defacing websites, and encrypting key systems. They intended to launch ransomware on some public institutions in Romania, generally hospitals, mostly by using social engineering and sending malicious executable applications from Locky to Bad Rabbit families hidden in email in the form of a file that apparently would come from other government institutions regarding the threat of COVID-19. So just send it from another .gov address and they'll open it. It's from a .gov. I should open this. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, like U.S. side, I'm pretty sure all of our .gov is demarked and everything, right? I wonder other nations and everything if all of theirs are demarked, so they're actually doing that handshake of validating it is who it says it's from before receipt.
Probably not.
I'm guessing not.
Yeah. So hospitals around the world have been under constant attack the past few weeks as ransomware gangs try to take advantage of the current pandemic to put pressure on victims to pay. It's a dick move. There are plenty of places you can target with your ransomware. It doesn't have to be hospitals where you can actually kill people.
Yeah, it could be nursing homes where you could kill. No, I'm joking. But yeah, it really is a jerk move for them to, especially because some of the times we've seen them target IoT devices, which could actually be ventilators and life-sustaining devices too, which is just asinine. Kevin said a few weeks ago, municipal government in VA was wrecked. Even cloud backups encrypted everything, then wiped it when Bitcoin ransom wasn't paid. Yeah, and we see that constantly. It happens way too many times, more times often than not. And two, a lot of people just don't have the appropriate, one, defenses in place. Two, you need to have your treachery, your single, your second, and your treachery backups in place. You need to have your on-site. That needs to be replicated off to some other type of solution that hopefully is kind of air-gapped. And then you also need your cloud base, which is, I like kind of that 3 part, because
3-2-1 rule.
Yeah, killing all 3 of those is incredibly difficult. So yeah, the 3-2-1 is a really, really good strategy from a backup perspective. Having 24/7 monitoring is something the majority of organizations do not have. But in today's day and age, if you, especially if you are somebody who's a higher likelihood to get to be targeted, that 24/7 is needed. Now, and then 2, you just need to have the basic defenses in place as well. Like if a simplistic script kiddie can reutilize code and that's going to make it through your defenses, yeah, you don't really have a security plan in place. At least it's not effectively implemented. Because anything, like stupid regular antivirus will be able to stop the majority of script kiddies. If it's normal Metasploit code that hasn't been obfuscated and just sent straight out of Metasploit.
Run it through a unicorn, god damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, we know how to do that too. But yeah, and like that, I'm not even going to say, because unicorn, yeah, still kind of script kiddie-ish, but at least that's advanced. You're not just like generating something directly from Metasploit that every other script kiddie is. But at least unicorn, it's PowerShell, you're encoding it, you're doing whatever additional over the top, right? They're doing something advanced, like with a living off the land binary script. They are obfuscating it, using carrots in place. Okay, maybe, yeah, your stuff won't detect that. Or if it's piggybacking off a DLL, you've renamed that or copied and renamed the DLL and you're running it from a different directory than, it would normally be in. Maybe that doesn't get caught. At least that's somewhat advanced. It's not just the same thing that everything should catch. I don't know. I'm spewing on. I think hackers are oftentimes able to be very lazy in the way that they, kind of do their attacks, and it work.
If you can get away with your shit working without having to obfuscate it, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, it's aggravating. How easy it is sometimes.
So next we have Anglo-Eastern suffers a ransomware attack. Now, if you don't know who Anglo-Eastern is, they're one of the largest ship makers in the world. They make all of these really big ass ships, and
whereas I'm one of the largest ship makers in the world. They're one of the largest.
One of the largest
with
ship
a P. In the world. Yeah, ship makers. Okay.
Ship makers.
I thought we were in the same business.
Their website is down, and they have more than 600 ships on the books right now, moving their IT systems back into place just 1 month after moving offices to a new premise in some place called Kowloon, I guess. It's gotta suck. You just move offices, you're getting all your shit back up and running, and now you get hit with ransomware. In a note to its clients, they said,
I was going to mention real quick too, whenever office changes are occurring, that's the time when you probably are going to be more vulnerable, right? Because you have this new environment, you're going to have the new routers there, or if you moved routers, there was going to be a downtime, which usually isn't going to be the case. You probably have new routers, new switches, new configs, new firewalls, and may not be like fully hardened. So, yeah, moves are always an annoying time from a security perspective.
Right. So the fact about 20% of their workstations and 10% of their servers were encrypted. Each workstation and server will need to be individually quarantined.
Like, welcome to the new building. Here's your encrypted host.
Here's your shit. Deal with it.
Yeah.
So big shipping has actually been the target of ransomware lately, with Mediterranean shipping as well. The world's second largest container line shipping organization suffering a malware breach in its Geneva location over Easter weekend, as well as Australia's top transportation group Toll getting hit with hackers twice in the space of 3 months. So it's just happening. Everyone's getting pwned.
Pwned.
And that's all we have for our ransomware report. But we still have vulnerable stuff, so don't you worry. We're just tearing through these show notes today.
That's right.
We got
That's what she said.
Wolf Rat. That's what it's called. Wolf Rat malware targets WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. This researchers from Wolf Research. No, I misread that. Researchers link the malware to Wolf Research operators with high confidence after it was spotted in campaigns targeting Thai users. It's an Android malware family, and it's targeting popular messaging apps. How does it get on your phone? That's the question. It's under active development, and it doesn't say how the hell it gets on your phone, but some folks over at Cisco Talos are telling us that WhatsApp records messages and SMSs that would carry some sensitive information on their phones. People forget when these communications occur, and that's why they're targeted. We see Wolfrat specifically targeting highly popular encrypted chat apps in Asia. Line, which suggests that even careful users with some awareness around end-to-end encryption would be at the mercy of Wolfrat. I would like to know how Wolfrat gets the hell on your phone in the first place. With an Android, you need to install an APK file, I think, to get code execution. So you'd have to turn off the ability to run only signed code. So you'd tell it, run this unsigned code. You have to check a box for that. So, is there an easier way to exploit Android that I'm just not aware of, besides tricking people into downloading apps that are malicious?
Look, well, underneath the campaign, it says that once downloaded, it poses as a legitimate service. So
poses as legitimate apps such as Flash updates. Okay.
Flash updates.
My phone needs a Flash update. Damn you, Adobe! This is all your fault.
It really is. Flash should have, well, outside of Microsoft, Flash should have smoked and died so many years ago. I mean, it was never built to do all the crap that people make it do, and it still make it do.
Yeah, there was a thing with the App Store a while back where somebody named their app the same thing as somebody else's, with like the .com dash whatever, like .com.google.services or whatever, and a whole bunch of people's phones auto-updated to their app instead of the one that was supposed to be installed on the phone.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a thing. It was a camera app, if I remember correctly, and it tricked people into downloading the malicious version through auto-update, so they didn't even interact with it. It just pulled down the wrong version.
Quality.
Yeah. Okay, so threat. The most important API used here, Mercer told Threatpost, is that it can be used by an application to obtain screenshots of the current device screen. Adding onto that capability, later versions of the malware actively search Facebook Messenger for specific text, as well as WhatsApp and Line. I haven't heard of Line before. I guess that's a popular messaging app in some other country. Once these apps are opened, the malware takes screenshots and uploads them to C2 automatically. That's fun. Kind of boring watching a C2 server and just getting some screenshots of people's phones, but whatever floats your boats, right?
I don't know. Depends if there's some interesting information there. You could use it for blackmail. It's usually going to be something obviously more manual as opposed to automated, right?
True.
Or you can see what applications they're using, so you have an idea of what to steal from them.
Mhm.
Oh, look, they got Coinbase on there. Let me just do a little transaction here. All right, next thing we have dark web scammers exploit COVID-19 fears. This has been happening for weeks, these dicks. It's like they latch on to the current thing that's going on in the world, and they just scare the shit out of people with their campaigns. And so this one, he's talking about scammers and criminals that inhabit the dark web who have found a new angle. These techniques are being used on the dark web, which is an encrypted part of the internet that can be accessed using popular networks such as Tor. And it offers bad actors a way to operate in a degree of impunity, yada, yada, yada. What is Tor? We're going to skip that section because we're not retarded. Skip down. Dark web was designed by U.S. No, that doesn't matter either. All right. So the two ransomware groups have said that they would not attack any hospitals or healthcare organizations during the pandemic. But as Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab outlined in a recent press briefing, there's evidence that criminal gangs are actively targeting national and international organizations that are responding to the pandemic, including hospitals, as we saw earlier. These organizations are targeted because of how vulnerable they are at this time and because of the likelihood that ransom will be paid. It's a dick move, a huge dick move. We're seeing more and more offerings on the dark web specifically for healthcare related information and for targeting healthcare facilities and doctors. These even mention a database someone has created on the dark web with all kinds of information about medical stuff. That's not very descriptive. At its core, the dark web is being used for bad things. Bad dark web. This article is just shitting all over Tor. Anyway, long story short, people are still targeting hospitals and taking advantage of COVID-19, despite some scammers saying they wouldn't do that. Next, we have fake U.S. Department of Treasury email spreads new Node.js malware. That's still a thing? Node.js malware?
Hey, like I said, if you can get away with the simple, you get away with the simple.
A new Node.js-based remote access Trojan and password-stealing malware is being distributed through malicious emails pretending to be from the Department of the Treasury. They say that your government contract was not paid due to incorrect banking information and prompt you to examine the documents for any mistakes. The documents, of course, are not very safe. One example says, however, there is no indication that the said approved fund was finally paid to you as the beneficiary, or as you may have changed ownership of receiving bank account or approved funds. It is not claimed by May 30th, the Department of Treasury anticipated that the funds will be distributed by the Emergency Relief Fund to support uncertainty caused by COVID-19 globally. This is not even worded well, but people are falling for it, and attached are a contract payment.zip file containing a file contract payment.jar. Yes, because contract payments are sent as Java executable files.
Heck yeah, they are.
This malware is a new Node.js malware called QNode service. And when executed, it will run a script called wizard.js and pop some files in the user profile /QNode.js directory. And then the malware will run every time the victim logs into Windows with a reg key created right under. It doesn't show exactly where it's created under, but I probably imagine HKey local system users run or someplace like there. This malware has the ability to update itself, get machine information such as IP address, machine name, location, username, and OS version, execute commands, including download more payloads, delete and write files, and steal passwords from various applications. So almost as much functionality as a interpreter shell.
Yeah.
if you've fallen victim, you should immediately assume that your data and passwords have been compromised. Well, no shit. It is also possible that the malware was used to gain access to other devices on your network. So they are pivoting. Pivoting's fun. Network system and security administrators should then perform an audit to make sure that the rest of the network and devices are not compromised, because that would be bad. Next, we have the weekly bulletin. Everybody's favorite part of this cast.
Yeah, which we're not going to discuss
Look,
all that.
all this shit happened today. Well, not today. This week. This month.
There you go.
All this shit you see here. If you're commanded data from Star Trek, you can read this as I'm scrolling down. All right. Next. Random shit. This is my new section. This I just found funny, and while not actually a hack, it's within the hacker spirit, I think, right? So a pizzeria owner made money buying his own $24 pizzas from DoorDash for $16.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to read this. There are many things that don't make sense about global capitalism that I enjoy. Anyway, the clearly inadvisable venture-backed monstrosities like dockless scooters and ride sharing that I before times changed how I interacted with places that I went. The things that don't compute for me are how these companies continue to burn through a reality warping amount of other people's cash in a way that upends the basic economics of things like taxi service, food delivery, and fail intentionally to turn a profit. Yesterday, Ranjan Roy, a content strategist and writer, wrote about later in his newsletter to the margins. One of his friends owns a few pizzeria restaurants that suddenly got an influx of customers complaining about delivery when the restaurant didn't offer delivery. He realized that a delivery option had mysteriously appeared on the company's Google listing. The delivery option was created by DoorDash. Apparently, this is one way that DoorDash does customer acquisition, by bullying restaurants. But what's funnier about Roy's friend's problem, and it was a real problem because of the Yelp reviews that were from angry customers, is that DoorDash priced the pizzas incorrectly. A pizza that he charged $24 for was listed as $16 by DoorDash. My final thought, cue the Wall Street trader in me, arbitrage. So, as the story unfolds, someone could pay DoorDash $16 for a pizza, and DoorDash would pay his restaurant $24 a pizza. Then he should clearly order pizzas himself via DoorDash all day long, netting a clear $8 profit per pizza. They ordered 10 pizzas at first, and it worked. The money was free, a seamless transfer from SoftBank's deep venture capital line pockets to Ray's friend's business account. Eventually, in another series of what Ray calls hilarious trades, they just ordered pizza dough through DoorDash for $75 in pure profit. Over a few weeks, almost to humor me, when we did a few of these trades, I was genuinely curious if DoorDash would catch on, but they didn't. Was this a bit shady? Maybe, but fuck DoorDash. I did confirm that my friend said it was okay to write this, and we both agreed, fuck DoorDash.
I didn't totally follow that scheme, sorry. Exactly how are they making money off of ordering their own food?
DoorDash pays you $24 digitally whenever somebody orders a pizza, right?
All right.
You only charge $16 for a pizza.
Okay.
So you're making $8 a pizza regardless difference. But if you order a pizza from yourself through DoorDash, you're now making that pure profit.
Profit. Okay. So basically they were ordering from their own company.
Right. You just order your own pizzas and it's pure profit. You don't have to make the pizza or deliver it to anybody because they're just paying you extra more than, So
Nice. Okay.
yeah, it's clever. The next thing we have is the DBIR is out. And we have a little summary of the DBIR for you guys today. because nobody's going to read through that entire fucking thing.
I used to whenever I cared, but I just
Did you see the
no.
butt report they put out a while ago? That was funny too.
Yeah, it's just no. I'm not doing that anymore.
So, in summary, DOS attacks and financially motivated data breaches were the winners.
Duh.
That's like every year. But DOS attacks are using some differing tactics, which commonly involve sending junk network traffic to overwhelm and crash systems. It doesn't help that criminals have created new and dangerous botnets to launch DOS attacks, such as Keyg and Mirai variants. Next, we have breach origins. When it comes to data breaches, almost 45% stems from actual hacks, whereas 22% use social attacks. 22% of breaches involved malware, and 17% were created by errors. 8% of breaches stemmed from misuse by authorized users. Malware is actually down this year and has been on a consistent and steady decline as a percentage of breaches over the last 5 years. In part two, an increasing level of access by cybercriminals to credentials. Thank you, Mimikatz. We think that other attack types, such as hacking and social breaches from the theft of credentials, makes it no longer necessary to add malware in order to maintain persistence. We got your creds. Why do we need to dump some malware in your system? Ransomware attacks continue to grow.
Well, and to piggyback off that momentarily, you got to think too. Over the last couple of years, we are more increasingly moving to cloud-based solutions as well. So, as well as users are still reutilizing passwords pretty constantly. So, if you
I don't use the same password everywhere. I just add a 1 to it, and it's different.
Well, yeah. See, yeah.
Or you can do the Dan Kaminsky thing. Company name. Oh no, it was fuck company name.
See, there you go. You could do that, but yeah, with password reuse, and if sites aren't employing multi-factor techniques, then you can take the password from breach A and use it everywhere. And yeah, it's just making the landscape a lot more vulnerable anytime that you are not, kind of enforcing multi-factor. And essentially, if you can do multi-factor, you should be doing multi-factor personally as well as corporately if you oversee any of those decisions.
I agree.
Yeah.
So they also broke down data breaches by vertical to show that the cyber criminals are drastically changing how they target industries. For instance, point of sale systems and related attacks once dominated breaches in accommodations and food service industry. However, now they've been replaced by malware attacks and web app attacks. Why hack a single cash register if you can hack a payment portal that's used by thousands of people that enter their credit cards? Anyway, the positives. The breach timeline continues to show promising results. The number of companies discovering incidents in days or less is up, whereas containment in that same time frame has surpassed its historic peak in 2017. So all in all, it's a good thing to read. Researchers also warned to keep in mind that positive incident response numbers are likely due to the inclusion of more breach detection by managed security service providers. Yeah, man. Like binary defense systems. They're pretty awesome. Anyway, it took a quarter of the companies dealing with data breaches months or more to realize they even had a breach. A lot of companies don't realize they have a breach until they're audited, and then they find out they had a breach a year and 8 months ago. That's the DBIR in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think actual time to detect a breach and actually know about it is still up in like the 7.5 to 8 month time frame. I'm guessing the Verizon data breach report had a specific, time frame. But last I heard, it was still up and around 7 to 8 months, somewhere in there,
That doesn't surprise me at all.
which is a long freaking time for attackers to be within an environment. I can't even imagine that.
The next article we have is how do you decode a data breach notice? We've all seen these data breach notices on companies' websites when we go to do maybe some online banking and find out that our credit card has been compromised and we need to get a new one, or any number of different kind of financial sites. We see that got a breach notification letting their customers know they've been breached. How do you decode these, though? Data breach notifications are meant to tell you what happened, what and how it will impact you. You've probably seen a few this year because now U.S. states have laws that compel companies to publicly disclose security incidents like a data breach as soon as possible. Europe's rules are stricter, and fines are a common occurrence if breaches are not disclosed. But data breach notifications have become an all too regular exercise in crisis communications. These notices increasingly try to reflect blame, obfuscate important details, or omit important facts. After all, it's a company's best interest to keep the stock market happy, keep investors satisfied, and regulators off their backs. The next time you get a breach notification, read between the lines by knowing the common bullshit lines to avoid so that you can understand the questions you need to ask. We take security and privacy seriously. Read, clearly we don't. A phrase frequently used in data breach notifications is we take security and privacy seriously. We have found about 1/3 of all notices filed within the California Attorney General's office in 2019 have had some variation on this line. The reality is most companies have shown little compassion or care about the privacy or security of your data, but do care about having to explain to their customers how the data was stolen. It's a hollow, overused phrase that means absolutely nothing. Next, we recently discovered a security incident. Read, somebody else found it, but we're trying to do damage control. It sounds innocuous enough, but it's an important remark to get right. When a company says they've recently discovered a security incident, who actually discovered the incident? All too often, it's a reporter who's reached out for comment because a hacker dropped off a file containing their customer database. And now they're scrambling to take ownership of the incident because it looks better than the company being left in the dark. Next one, an unauthorized individual. Read, we do not know who is to blame, but don't blame us. This is the most of the contentious parts of a data breach notification. It boils down to a simple question: who was to blame for the security incident? Legally speaking, unauthorized access means someone unlawfully broke into a system, often using somebody else's password by bypassing a login screen. But companies often get this wrong or don't want to distinguish between whether the incident was malicious or not. If a system was exposed and left online without a password, if a company has lax security controls, or if a security researcher found and reported an unknown exploit to them. There's no reason to paint them as a malicious actor, but companies do love to shift the blame. So keep an open mind. The next one. We took immediate steps. Read, we sprung into action as soon as we found out. Hackers aren't always caught in the act, but a lot of cases, most hackers are gone by the time the company learns of a breach. And when the company says that it took immediate steps, don't assume from the moment of the breach. Equifax says it acted immediately to stop an intrusion when hackers stole nearly $150 million in credit reports. No, 100 not dollars, and that made no sense. 150 million consumers' credit reports. But hackers have already been in the system for 2 months before Equifax found the suspicious activity. Like Israel was saying before, they're in your system for months before you find out. What really matters is Did the security incident start? When did the company learn of it? And how did they deal with it? The next one, our forensic investigation shows. This means we ask somebody to tell us how badly fucked we are. Incident responders help to understand how an intrusion or a data breach happened. It helps the customer collect on cybersecurity insurance and prevent a similar breach from occurring. But some companies have forensics, which are not really forensics. Internal investigations are not transparent or accountable, and their outcomes are not scrutinized or published, whereas incident responders are independent, qualified assessors that will tell a company what it is they need to hear and not what it is they want to hear, even if their findings still may remain private. The next one, out of an abundance of caution, we want to inform you of the incident. Read, we were forced to tell you about this. Don't think for a second that a company is trying to do the right thing by disclosing a security incident. In the US and Europe, companies aren't given a choice. Most states have some form of a data breach notification law that compels companies to disclose incidents that affect a certain number of residents and above. Failing to disclose a breach can lead to massive penalties. Just look at Yahoo, which, like TechCrunch, is owned by Verizon, which paid $35 million in 2018 by a federal regulator for failing to disclose one of its data breaches that saw 500 million account records stolen. Next one, a sophisticated cyber attack. This means we're trying not to look as stupid as we actually are. Just because a company says it was a sophisticated cyber attack doesn't mean it was. It's a hyperbole designed to serve as cover your ass. What it really means is the company has no idea how the attack happened. Next, there is no evidence that data was taken. Read, that we know of. No evidence doesn't mean something hasn't happened. It just means it hasn't been sent out yet. Either the company isn't looking hard enough or doesn't know. Even if a company has said it has no evidence that data was stolen, it's worth asking how it arrived at that conclusion. And last but not least in this article, it sounds way worse if we say millions of users. The next time you see a data breach notification saying only a small percentage of customers are affected by a breach, take a minute to think what that actually means. A data breach in January of 2019, it said they had some of our user data was taken. Months later, a hacker posted 57 million records. Same thing with another company, Last.fm. It said in 2012, some of our users' passwords were stolen in a breach. It later amounted to 43 million passwords. So if a company tells you you don't, if a company doesn't tell you how many people is affected, it's because they either don't know or don't want you to know. So that is that article, which I like that article. So that's why I popped it in there. We've got tons of more fun stuff for you guys. Does anybody want to take one of these? No? All right.
Where are we at? Windows Package Manager preview?
Yep.
I haven't even looked at this one.
Well, it's like they just stole chocolatey functionality and popped it into Windows Command Shell. Like,
it's for updating stuff locally on the endpoint then?
Yeah, it's like chocolatey, but
okay,
with no credit to chocolatey. And
yeah. Which is pretty sweet because chocolate is pretty cool. The only thing I don't like about it is Windows only, right? You can't use it for like updating Macs or Linux or anything else. So if you do have essentially like a full Windows environment, chocolatey is really nice. But it looks like with this, you may be able to not even have to use Windows or chocolatey anymore and just have something here locally that will automatically update all your different applications.
Yeah.
Kind of, automated side, keep everything updated. especially if you work like in a decentralized environment, which I'm starting to see more, not a lot, but more of them popping up, where you're not running off of an active domain controller or just any regular domain at all, and you're fully decentralized. Like, this is a needed type of solution. You have to have something to make sure your user systems are staying up to date. Now, Frank, did you look into this all that much? Like, do you know if this can be installed, and I'm assuming it can, and run as system while the user doesn't have to have administrative capabilities?
The article unfortunately didn't go that into depth.
Okay.
But that would definitely be something I would want. The ability for the package manager to elevate itself
Yeah.
without the user actually elevating. That would be neat.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things you see as a sysadmin. If you install software on a bunch of people's computers and then they come to you, they don't have admin rights. They're like, I need to update Java and Flash and Adobe Reader and this and that. And it's like, I need admin rights to do it.
Mhm.
And it's just a pain in the ass.
It is, and there's certain ways of getting around that, right? Utilizing
Use the registry key that always install elevate one, but that's not a very smart thing to do, because then some attacker can just pop a PowerShell script on there, and an MSI file rather, and run it and have a system.
correct, or have another account with elevated rights. And shoot, what's the add-in for that Microsoft makes available, where like a help desk person can give them just a password for that account, they run it, or like local admin, where it talks back through to Active Directory, and then you can make it like a one-time password, and then upon log off, Lapse, yes, yeah. So utilize Lapse or some other, CyberArk has a solution for that. Beyond Trust, I think, does too. Almost all the PAM solutions have something that'll do that, but that too is paid. Lapse is a freebie. It works pretty well. A lot of people have issues with it. Well, I won't say a lot, but some security people have issues with it because you can't get the clear text password straight from Active Directory. But in my view, if somebody already has access into Active Directory, like, Lapse is not something you should be cared about at that point. You are completely pwned anyway. So, yeah. But I do like Lapse.
Yeah. Also in the Windows world, which I didn't put in here, is they are releasing an update to the Windows for Linux subsystem that will allow you to run GUI apps without running your own X server, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that did look cool. And then another thing on Windows, which has apparently been in for, I think, a year or two now, native ability to do packet captures.
Nice.
It works off of, let me see. I can probably find that pretty quickly.
If they can only get us some raw socket support on the Windows for subsystem Linux, that would be
Yeah, so like how Linux has had TCP dump for years, Windows has PKTMON, so packet monitor, that you can run, but there was never any real documentation. But now, if you do PKTMON and do like slash question mark, or yeah, I think it's slash question mark in Windows still, you can start looking through how you can use it, because you could use like Network Monitor for years, but they haven't really updated it in a long time, and it worked pretty well. But you also had to install it, or obviously Wireshark, but sometimes there was going to be driver issues that pop up from time to time. But now, even from an attack perspective, you could be an attacker, run natively now, which, this will be classified as a living off the land binary script. You can run packet monitor and be able to get some information and maybe get some inspection going and maybe start to automate some of that process. So could be used from an attack perspective. I know from a defensive perspective, I used to use packet monitoring constantly on the endpoints. So, say something was on there and I need to see lower level and actually get packet side. Yeah, I was going to install Wireshark or something so I could start digging in deeper. So, but that being natively there is going to be very, very convenient.
for sure. The next thing I popped in here is an article. If you remember last week, I was talking about that ransomware gang that was auctioning off that law firm's records for like Madonna and all these different celebrities.
Yes.
So they're back in the news because they released a little press release on their own site saying that they have sold off all their data that they had on Trump for like $450 million.
Well, screw it. I'm retiring then.
Exactly.
Which one of those countries don't have extradition? There I come.
Exactly. Not really much more to that article than that. So this is just something humorous that I found. This article, I don't know if you guys can see my screen or not, but this dude, his wife is constantly on Zoom conference calls, so he finds the most ridiculous costumes he can and photobombs her.
Nice.
Where's Waldo as Batman?
Batman.
You know, it's pretty funny. And the article's got a few pictures that are not loading right now, but
That's because you got that super fast internet.
No, dude, I upgraded to Verizon.
I saw. I know.
It's just the website's in India, and it sucks. All right. So next thing we have is Windows 10 GPU support in WSL, which kind of piggybacks on what we were talking about before. I guess maybe now we can run Hashcat in WSL. That would be neat, right?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Although there's a native Windows binary for running Hashcat, so it wouldn't be that great.
True.
Cell tower attacks by idiots who claim 5G spreads COVID-19 reportedly on the rise in the U.S. I'm surprised this is a thing. I've heard of other countries, idiots doing this, but now we've got people who are claiming. I actually had a friend of mine, a chick I used to have a huge crush on, call me up the other day to tell me, do you know that the 5G cell phone towers are spreading the coronavirus? And I'm like, you are really hot. I didn't say this, but I thought it. Oh, I never realized you were an idiot before.
It's good that you're pretty.
Yeah. Congratulations on being attractive, because that's the only chance you have.
Well, it's probably the most useful thing that you can have as far as.
Crap. I missed it. It's 8:23. At 8:20, it was 2020 military time.
2023.
Yeah.
So this claim that 5G spreads the coronavirus, either by suppressing the immune system or directly transmitting the virus over radio waves, has led to a bunch of buildings being burned down in the UK. And now DHS is preparing to advise the U.S. telecom industry on steps it can take to prevent attacks on 5G cell towers, following a rash of incidents in Western Europe fueled by false claims that the technology spreads the pathogen.
They ought to just send the birds to protect the towers. You guys seen that, right?
You could burn them, but I mean, what more practical thing? If that's your desire to destroy them would be to get a 30-06 and put around for it.
Yeah, but I'm assuming you guys have seen that at some point too. That people think that birds are just surveillance utilities.
Yeah. I've heard the justification for the coronavirus, a lockdown, is that it can change the batteries in the birds.
Exactly. And see, I just think that's absurd. I mean, they've upgraded them to use solar power now, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You remember someone, I think it was at DEF CON, handing out stickers that said "Birds aren't real, wake up" or something like that.
Just spread the disinformation campaign. So there are a bunch of misinformation campaigns about this that have led to 5 arson incidents, including cell phone towers in Memphis, Tennessee, resulted in more than $100,000 damage, as well as 14 towers in western Tennessee between February and April that were purportedly turned off by way of disabling their electrical breakers. Violent extremists drawn from misinformation campaigns online claim wireless infrastructure is deleterious to human health and helps spread COVID-19, resulting in a global effort by like-minded individuals who are probably also anti-vaxxers and flat earthers. Um, the World Health Organization, which we may no longer be a part of, maintains a list of COVID-19 myths, including the 5G conspiracy theory. Viruses cannot travel on radio waves or mobile networks. Well, maybe not those kind of viruses.
Yeah.
And the article goes on to say, in both cases, the only evidence offered in support of the timing is the timing of the 5G rollout versus the appearance of the coronavirus in some locations, as well as maps that compare the locations of 5G services to the locations of the highest incidence of SARS-CoV-2. Neither of these make sense as evidence, and 5G was present in a variety of locations for a while without any coronavirus appearing in them. Plenty of cities are without 5G service that will also have a high incidence of the virus. I'm going to go get some water, and I finish the show notes so you guys can banter.
Okay.
It is just so amazing that people like actually think that. It boggles my mind.
It doesn't exactly boggle my mind. I mean, people have been talking about, technology's causing problems. I mean, if you talk about 15 years ago, there were people who were worried about Wi-Fi.
That is true.
But usually they thought it was going to give them cancer or something. I think it was not necessarily an actual virus.
Mm-hmm.
Although the play up that it hurts your immune system and that's how you get the virus is an interesting play.
Yeah. I mean, but we don't even see radio waves necessarily do that, at least at distance, right? Now, up close, oh yeah, a radio wave will fry the crap out of you, but at distance, doesn't really affect anybody.
But if the 5G came out at the same time as the coronavirus, it must be the source of the coronavirus.
There is one concern I do have about 5G, and that is whose technology are we necessarily using? My understanding is a bit of a political concern in Great Britain because they're rolling out a 5G network that is designed in China.
Interesting.
I mean, China.
So is it Huawei that they're rolling out, or
That's
actually, yeah, I think it is,
Huawei.
isn't it?
I was saying Huawei for a while. I don't know how the hell you say it.
I think the proper pronunciation is Huawei, but I think it is Huawei that they're rolling out in Great Britain.
Yeah, we have a ban on them. They're not allowed to use any of the Google Play services right now on their phones because there's a trade embargo thing going on with that.
Who's they?
Huawei cannot
No,
use...
you mean like the U.S. government side? Yes.
Google is a U.S. company.
Yeah.
I would say one thing we should definitely do. So anything that's really essential, let's not trust China with it. I'm understanding a lot of our medicines and so forth are manufactured over there.
Correct.
And
our clothes, our TVs, our phones,
our N95 masks.
That's the one of the things I'm concerned about. My understanding is other medications though are made over there. I mean, if I have to wait another year to buy a new TV from a U.S. manufactured company, that's fine. I don't mind buying that kind of stuff made in China. But I mean, anything that's essential to life, you probably don't want to buy from China.
Yeah.
Especially if we ever go to war with them.
Let's buy some respirators from China.
Because there's apparently been a bunch of military tensions in the area.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how everything plays out long term, because their economy is going to be tanking. Businesses are already pulling, and more will. I have something that I ordered. Let's see, back last week of April, and it was processed through Beijing's processing facility on May 1st and hasn't left. It's still sitting there.
Yeah, I
So-
got some illegal drugs I bought, and they haven't come yet. They're just sitting there.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
obviously what my stuff was too. Yeah. I just buy legal drugs from China, not illegal ones.
I was buying some modafinil. I actually have a prescription for it, but it was cheaper.
I see. And come to find out, it was just cornstarch is what they're shipping you.
Of course.
That's always nice.
What's modafinil do?
Modafinil is a narcolepsy medication that makes you very alert, and the movie Limitless was supposed to be based on modafinil.
But it's not counted in the same drug class as like Adderall.
It's similar. It's a stimulant, but it's not in the same categorization.
Okay. Because I used to be on Adderall, but the massive pain in the Adderall case was they made me do a piss test randomly to make sure I was taking it. And that's just a massive pain in the ass, especially when you have to spend the extra money for the drug test to do it. And it's a pointless fucking test because they you can come back and take it at another time if you can't piss at that point. At that point, you could have taken some Adderall and come back in. So what's the point of even doing the test?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Personally, I say let all the druggies have all the drugs they want. I don't think it should be legal except the maybe operated vehicles on them and some other heavy equipment. But if you don't have kids and you're doing some shit in your own home, I'm for pretty much abandoning all drug laws.
I don't know. Even like fentanyl and like say self-treatment, right? So if somebody is taking nitroglycerin tablets, but they don't have heart issues,
Well, why would you want to do that?
I don't know, but people I'm sure would.
Yeah. I would let them do it.
Oh, okay.
Natural selection.
Yeah.
I'm still of two minds about the concept of driving while high on pot. For that kind of thing, I'm not sure how much it lowers your ability, but I don't have enough experience of that particular drug to really know.
Yeah.
I have
right?
been in a car with someone who was driving while they were under the influence of marijuana, and they were conscious in this, they were conscious of it and being aware of it, so they were trying to drive slower and be more mindful, so they could take, because they knew their reaction time was delayed. So
Oh, okay.
they were not like Cheech and Chong baked out of their fucking head, but they were high.
Because I was high, because I was high, because I was high. Da, 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 da.
That movie came out. The movie I associate that song with, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, came out almost 20 years ago.
The reboot's actually
Holy
on
crap.
Amazon Prime, right?
Oh, and is it any good?
I've watched part of it. It's not bad. I mean, there's a lot of in jokes. They played a lot of shit to make it more recent. They're making jokes about their age and whatnot too, but it's not bad.
Yeah, aging Gen X's.
I think Cheech and Chong should have a reboot.
Yeah.
They're both still alive, right?
Yeah, as far as
Yeah.
I know, they're both still alive, but they're definitely up there. I mean, Cheech Marin, it's got to be 50s or 60s, and Tommy Chong
I'd
is
say, yeah,
I'd
he's
say
got to
higher
be
than that.
at least 60s. I'm
Yeah.
thinking maybe even 70s. And
possibly,
Chong,
yeah.
I know Tommy Chong's on Facebook. One of my cousins is, or I won't say cousins.
Cheech Marin is 73.
Okay.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, but I know somebody who knows Chong.
Oh.
And yeah, he is tagging him and stuff constantly.
Oh. And Tommy Chong is 81.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I guess he did look a
Wow,
little older in the early movies.
Well, how
Way the
old?
fuck off.
And maybe that's what they should do. They should have like Willie Nelson, Cheech and Chong, Snoop, and probably a handful of other people, all in just like Huge weed movie.
Yeah, they should redo Cheech and Chong and make it about a non-binary woman and and a gay woman. Yeah. That's how we do things now. We remake things and completely change them.
Yeah.
You see, I want an all-male reboot of Thelma and Louise.
It's actually kind of funny. So in the Jay and Silent Bob movie, they make cracks about reboot versus remake because that's a constant thing. They're like, oh, shit's getting rebooted and remade and fucking made worse. And
What is the distinction between a reboot and a remake?
I think a remake is when they remake it. They go into a term of what they define it as, but like a reboot is when they
kind of add
like,
on, right?
Well,
And
they may
continue
change
on.
it. Yeah, they may change it so it's a little different. Like they may change certain parts of the cast, certain parts of the plot, things like that.
Like
A
the
remake is like they
Ghostbusters.
remake it with a new. Or actually, I think that's remake. A reboot is when they basically they redo it with like modern filmography, a new cast, etc.
Wait, but a remake is also a new cast, isn't it?
Well, yeah, usually because I mean, depending on how the movie
So-
is, the cast's gonna be around anymore.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is, I guess a remake would be something if you use the same story. A reboot, you may have to use the same story. For instance, Spider-Man has had like 2 reboots since the first live-action film.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys consider like the new oh crap, Tom Cruise Top Gun? Like I consider that one's like, isn't that a reboot?
Well, I'd call it a
Because
sequel.
oh yeah, I guess that is
more of a sequel.
Yeah.
No, because they I think they said like a remake is like where they change it just enough where it's legally distinct kind of thing. That's kind of where they draw the line there on
Legally
that.
distinct. I don't think that'd be the right terminology because if they could do enough to make a remake, they got the legal rights already.
Eh.
I'd say you have to keep very large plot elements the same to make it a remake. But if you if it's a completely new story with similar themes or same characters, it's a reboot. That would be, I guess, the way I would put it. For instance, a remake would be like the original Fright Night movie from the 80s, and then the other one that came out in, I think, the early 2000s. I mean, there was similar plot themes in both of them. Vampire living next door to a kid, the kid going to someone he idolizes to help him fight the vampire. Though they changed so many other plot elements about it. The biggest one being is Peter Vincent was an actor who starred in a lot of like Hammer-like horror films, who hosts a show, showing old horror films on TV. And the Peter Vincent from the newer movie is a stage musician, stage magician. I can't speak.
Neither can I.
You guys said something and made me think of the Goonies, and now I'm looking up if the Goonies 2 ever actually happened.
Not Goonies 2. I don't think so.
Oh, no, it never did. It was announced, and there was a script created, but it was never actually filmed.
They made a couple of low-budget sequels with some of the same actors, of course, to Lost Boys.
Yeah.
As I recall, they weren't very good, though.
Nah.
A Christmas Story got a second movie. It was horrible. I don't see TBS running that every Christmas.
Of course not.
When you say second movie, though, do you mean sequel or do you mean
It got a sequel.
Okay.
It's Ralphie, same actor.
I have to think the worst sequel of all time is Highlander 2.
I like Highlander, the TV show. I do not really like the movies that much.
I like the TV show pretty well. The first and last seasons were pretty rough, though. It hit its stride during seasons 3 and 4. And 2 was good, too.
Yeah, every now and then they had an episode like it had nothing to do with him being a Highlander. It was just like a sitcom. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
Then that thing they did in the last season, because they knew they wanted to do a new Highlander series, but with a new character, and they wanted to be female. Because you'll notice in the last season of Highlander, there's a ton of female characters that pop in that they try. But then they ended up just going with Amanda, who they'd had since season 1 or 2.
I never saw it.
And then they had this weird thing with Zoroastrian gods in one of the seasons. Oh, do you know the guy who played Richie Ryan? You know he passed away.
He did. Shit.
Yeah, he died sometime. I think either late last year or early this year. Apparently, it was a suicide.
That sucks.
Fortunate.
Oh, my tractor's coming later this week. I'm happy.
You're getting a tractor?
I am.
That's amazing.
How much land you got?
4 acres.
It's the second time he's mentioned he's got 4 acres in this cast.
That's the second time I've been asked how much land I got in this cast.
Well, because earlier I said property. I should have said house. Because yeah.
I wasn't paying attention at that point.
You could probably hear my neighbor. My neighbor is actually does professional landscaping. He's actually mowing my lawn because he does that.
Infotech related question from Barry Merritt in the chat. Yes, the actress who played Amanda did hump Clinton.
Who didn't hump Clinton? I humped Clinton.
The actress's name is Elizabeth Grayson, and she I haven't seen her much recently, but yeah, she was Miss Arkansas, I think 1982, but I may not be right on that. So probably one of the hotter women that Clinton has had some kind of illicit thing with. Bill, that is, not Hillary. And she went on to be in, I think it was The Death of the Incredible Hulk, as a character who, if I remember a little bit, I don't think they actually named it the same character, but she seemed a lot like Black Widow. And, what was the... and after Highlander, she did some series, I think, where she was a sword fighter, also The Raven. I actually need to look her up and see what else she's doing. She never got to be that A-list status. And, of course, looks fade over time.
True. I never got that A-list status either.
Yeah, she's 59 years old now. Look up on IMDb. See, on the first page of IMDb, yeah, that's good. That one actually does it. The information I want them to show me instantly. Oh, she's still working. She's still doing TV series and such. Ooh, she had like a 10-year dry spell, though. I may be wrong about that sword movie. That TV show. That could have been someone else. She looks like she was really busy in the early 90s, though.
Well, she was coming off that Clinton high.
I'm thinking the thing with Clinton might have been mid-80s.
Well, yeah, it held for a few years. Got to ride that wave. Hey, and once again, this was episode 169.
I'm sure we made a lot of those jokes too when we did episode 69.
Yes.
So we still got less than a year to 200, right?
Correct. 31 more episodes.
I think we'll hit it the very beginning of next year.
I hear booping sounds.
That's my Roku. Sorry, I was scrolling through YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, someone's saying, Fernando is saying it takes a lot of work to keep those 4 acres up. That's not the exact phrasing, but I mean, how do you actually mow all that land, or you have trees on it, or what do you?
Yeah, so about half of it's wooded, half of it's mowed, and then because like the tractor I'm getting it has a 4-foot loader on the front and then a backhoe on the back because I had field tile that collapsed years and years ago before I even moved in here. So I've had some water issues over the years. So I'm going to dig up all the collapsed field tile, replace it, fix it. I have tree stumps I need to dig out. I have a lot of different things that just need to be done that it's going to be a massive assistance with. And two, going to have a tractor, so a big boy's toy. And my son's so freaking excited about it. So it's going to be fun.
What's a field tower?
Field tile. So that's like drainage that goes underneath fields and other places that gets water just to like a creek whenever you're not somewhere close, especially for more flatter types of land. Because here, water, like we had like 8 inches of water over the last 2 days, and essentially it's not draining anywhere because there's nowhere to drain. So the field tile, very slight slope, about 4 foot underground, and it gets it out to a creek. But with my field tile being collapsed, it just starts to build up and has nowhere to go. So I'm gonna get in there, dig it all out, get it replaced, and actually have somewhere for all this stupid water to go to.
When it comes to baby deer versus John Deere, John wins. Well, I imagine you'd be driving slow enough in a tractor where you hit the deer, as long as you don't hit it with one of the implements. Will it really splatter a deer?
No. I mean, they'll go up to like 8 to 10 miles an hour, but about the only time you're going to hit a baby deer's, if they're kind of burrowed down and you go over it with like a bush hog. Barry and it kind of cowers in place.
Yeah, Barry says he's mowed 10 acres before.
So once me and my buddy Santo were coming back from a My Little Pony convention in Wisconsin, going through Ohio, and we hit a deer at 2
o'clock. Did you say you went to a My Little Pony convention?
We hit a deer.
I'm pretty sure you just said you went to a My Little Pony.
I'm not sure what he was mowing with, but Barry says when he was mowing that ground area, if I understand it right,
we hit a deer.
You can't see him, and you can sausage.
So we were going about 70, and we hit this deer, and it completely destroyed the front of his car. And we were stuck there on the side of the road at 2 a.m. trying to tell local police where the hell we were so they could come and get us.
Fun.
Certainly an adventure.
When you were coming back from a My Little Pony convention?
I said nothing like that. I don't know where you got that.
Okay, I'm seeing the stat out here. Information, what's from Vox, so I don't know if I trust it, saying that you're more likely to be killed by a deer than sharks.
Yes.
Because they can fuck up your car and fuck up you while you're in your car.
Dude, it like destroyed the whole side of the car. I was terrified because I was like half asleep, and then all of a sudden I heard a smack.
How could you sleep after being at a My Little Pony convention? That sounds exhilarating.
You know what? For somebody who doesn't actually watch My Little Pony, it was very informative. I get to learn all sorts of things. I learned that there's after the regular booths with like the people who draw My Little Pony stuff are closed at about 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. They open up a room and they have My Little Pony erotica stuff where people will draw it live for you. There's a whole shit ton of people in there. It was fun.
That is so weird.
And there's this thing called yiffing. I don't think you're ready for that, though.
I know what that is, yeah.
It was a fun vacation. I threw some axes at a wall in a place in Wisconsin when I was there. That was fun.
Yeah, I did that for my birthday. That's a ton of fun.
Yeah, I know there's a bar up someplace I went several cons ago where you could go in there, drink a beer, and throw axes, which doesn't always seem real safe. I mean, they put partitions between people, and you had certain loading times where you all had to walk up at the same time.
It'll come flying back at you sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I used to throw tomahawk at Mountain Man events with my uncle and my dad.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
I was like, the very first time I went to go throw it, my friend shows me. She's like, "Yeah, put both your hands behind your back, and then release, going forward." And I did it, and I hit the freaking bullseye.
Oh,
and for the rest of the night, I couldn't hit that goddamn bullseye.
You're throwing like a full. You're throwing a full axe, not just a tomahawk, then, right?
Correct.
Okay. I just do tomahawks. I don't know. I think I've done I probably have tried in my youth to try to throw a full axe, but I don't think it was particularly successful. But I throw tomahawks pretty well when I practice.
Nice.
I need to actually get me a new tomahawk block for the backyard.
You should do it.
Well, the thing is finding someone who's cut down a tree recently and then building a stand for it. And I know there should be a different way I can construct something from the hardware store, but it's got to, you kind of got to go into the grain to make it easily stick.
Mm-hmm.
And the way lumber is cut, you don't have the grain exposed on the outside, on the wide parts. I guess you could cut off a 2x4 or something bigger several times, slice them together, and find a way to put them together. But I'm not sure it would hold. That'd be strong enough that
you can, using a planer to some degree, you can get multiple boards together to kind of join them together. Like if you're making a big table or something. I'm sorry, I just rejoined the last few seconds. But you can use like a planer to join them together and then things like that. But depends on what you want to do. If you were looking at strength, you may just need to get a bigger board of, some other kind of wood, good oak or rosewood or something.
Well, oak would be too hard.
What do you?
What she said.
I'm sorry, I did join the end of that. What are you doing exactly with it?
Throwing tomahawks.
I mean, you shouldn't need to do anything with that. You could just get a good log and what's the tool? Damn it! Now I'm drawing a blank. Now I just mentioned a planer, and now I'm drawing a blank. Lathe it out.
Holy crap! If you were to lay that out,
no, you just get a small log and lathe it out. I mean, tomahawk handles aren't 2 or 3 feet, if that.
Oh, you're talking about lay out a new handle.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, man, if you're gonna take like a 3-foot log and lay that out as the target, holy crap, that's a lot of weight.
Well, are you talking about making a tomahawk board or an actual tomahawk handle?
He's talking about making the actual
target.
I mean, yeah, you could just get some boards like from 2x4s and just like staple or glue them together because it's disposable. It's gonna break apart.
Yeah, probably would glue them together, then plane the top and get it nice and flat, and yeah, go from there. And you could easily take the crap we were just talking about it, the direction that the wood's going. Man, it's been a long day.
Grain.
Yeah, you could take obviously the grain on all of them going essentially the same way too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another thing I should probably announce since I'm helping organize these. Hoosier HackerCon is doing another webinar at 10 p.m. tomorrow. You just go out to Hoosier HackerCon and you'll be able to find a link to the webinars. And this time it's going to be Bill Gardner.
Oh, cool.
Oh, he's cool.
So they do need to find more speakers, so let me know.
Is he going to? Did you make it mandatory that has to wear a bow tie?
He's probably going to do it anyway.
Okay. I just want to make sure it happens. Not getting any of this like second-rate Bill Gardner stuff. Like, yeah, we got the premium there.
Now, unfortunately, after him, I think we only have 2 more people lined up. Well, actually, technically 3 because one's going to be a duo. Let me go out to the site and take a look.
I would offer to do a talk, but I don't have anything interesting to talk about.
Actually, yeah, Adrian, are you still accepting content for that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for the webinars? Sure.
Okay. Yeah, let me finalize something and send it over to you. I might have something for you.
Cool. We have to figure out. I know you don't normally have your face on camera, so you have to figure out a way to send some kind of image. Yeah,
Just put a paper bag over his head.
I need a subject and a bio, basically. Yeah, after him, we have Pyro, Luke McCormick. And then after that, we have, I didn't put this in correct. We have Tim Roberts and Brent Wright doing a talk on physical security.
Wait, which Brent? Like Tennessee Brent?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I believe is where he lives.
Yeah.
And also, we have all the old webinars out there on that page as well.
Nice.
All right. Yes, with 4 more minutes, we make 2 hours. I still need to get Charles's talk out on archive.org, but I do have a link to the YouTube version. Luckily, his was the first one we successfully streamed directly from the webinar to YouTube, almost live.
And I feel so honored that that's happened.
Hey, look, Charles is back.
Yeah.
Charles! You're
Yeah.
a webinar star.
The what star?
You're a webinar star.
I am?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I was a star.
You're a star.
Well, Adrian told us how it was streamed, from your OnlyFans account. So congrats on that one.
Oh, thank you. No, I enjoyed doing that talk. I had fun. It was really fun.
I wonder if I went out to Pornhub and set up an account.
Mm-hmm.
I just started uploading InfoSec videos. I wonder if they'd take them down because they're not porn.
They would. So that was a running joke they tried back when YouTube was like censoring a bunch of gun content a couple years ago, and started uploading them to Pornhub. And because technically it's not against their terms of service, but Pornhub was like, yeah, no, we're not allowing that.
It might fuck with your searches, I guess.
Yeah, you're not naked, so.
So what if he was shooting guns wild?
No, don't do it, Adrian. I know what you're thinking. Don't fucking do it.
Oh, okay.
Don't get naked while doing InfoSec. That's no.
That should be our show, the Naked InfoSec Hour, starring Adrian.
Well, there's already naked security.
Oh, I need to get back in shape.
That's different.
I was going hiking there for a week or two, but then I kind of lazed out around the house. Had a little peppermint schnapps.
And this week on the Naked InfoSec, we have the Pythonist.
Oh, shit.
Where he placed the Pythonist in a ruby gem.
Wait, he tests a Clam AV install using the Pythonist.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Woo!
Yeah, I recommend BitChute to people as an alternative because they don't seem to censor anything. But then you have crazy dumb fucks in the InfoSec talking about, oh, it's a network for Nazis.
Oh my God.
Very little of the content seems to be anything quite like that. But you do have people of all sorts of weird political views that post shit there. So you're going to have some people with some offensive content. Guess what? A low censorship network is going to have that.
True that.
But they don't take down security videos, so that's all good. So I need to check out my settings again because originally I had YouTube automatically sending it for me to BitChute, or BitChute automatically sucking it down from YouTube, and it's not doing that right now.
Has YouTube calmed down on that shit where they're censoring InfoSec videos?
They haven't censored mine, and they censor other people's ones that don't seem any,
I might have they censored like those shitty Indian videos with some guy teaching you how to use Metasploit horribly. But like,
I hate it when they post video tutorials and don't narrate it. They just want you to read something at all times.
hello, this is Vivek. I just security to.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to hang out a little bit after the cast, but I'm going to stop the YouTube stream, and I hope to catch you all next week.
That's right.
Later, y'all.